Thank you, honorable members. It has been moved and seconded that the following bill be read a second time and committed. A bill for an act to provide for the continuous service in the public service of Mary Mitchell. As many, the chair recognizes the honorable member for St. Barnabas.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. As I rise to my feet, Madam Speaker, let me give thanks to Almighty God, who continues to remind me of the love that He has for me, has for all of us. And as it is often said, remind me that I need Him just as much on my best day as I need Him on my worst day. I thank Him for what He continues to bless me with. In particular, as I often say when I rise to my feet, to be a citizen of the greatest nation on earth, the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. Before I get into my thoughts on the pieces of legislation, Madam Speaker, I think it's vitally important to put before this House and for our contemplation as members of Parliament the situation that we're dealing with crime in our country. Even as we assembled here this morning, you had another shooting in the Carmichael Road area, I believe. Madam Speaker, we are being tested at this moment. We are being tested as a deliberative body. We are being tested as leaders. And let me just say this, Madam Speaker, and I've been consistent with this, that I do not believe that crime should be used as a political football. I do not believe that that should be the case. It's very important to state that. But we, I believe, and many Bahamians believe, we are a nation in crisis right now, Madam Speaker. We are a nation in crisis. And the Bahamian people are sincerely asking every day, every hour as the pictures go through social media, and as persons in their communities surround the riddled bodies of young men in our country in particular, they're asking a sincere question about where is the plan to address these issues. And that's not a political statement. That's not a political statement. Where are the plans to address these issues? I know that the honorable member for Freetown in his communication talked about a number of things. But the Bahamian people want to know, what are we going to do in the main? Because definitely all of us would agree in here that we are not paralyzed to make some effort to arrest these issues in a meaningful way. And there is no doubt, Madam Speaker, there is no doubt that these are complex issues and requires the inclusion of political, civic, community leaders. But the Bahamian people are asking, where is the plan as this carnage continues?
I think you just said we need more officers like
We're talking about we're talking about the murders. We're talking about the murders in the last, 10 murders, 9 murders in the last 2 weeks? And if we sit here and it doesn't capture our conscience in a way to deal with this issue, every day, communities are in fear. The question the Bahamian people are asking, what is the plan from the government as it relates to this? What is the plan? And again, that's not a political statement, but at the end of the day, the government of the day, whoever it may be, has a responsibility to act and engage in a certain way. And I know that the member from Marcos City has conveyed this before, as do I, and I'm sure all of my colleagues. However, we can participate in this discussion about what we can do and have a collaborative effort in our collective efforts to deal with this. We need to. Every day, in my constituency alone in the last 2 weeks, I've had 2 murders, Madam Speaker, 2 murders. 2 persons were shot, actually 3, because eventually the other young man who was rushed to the hospital succumbed to his injuries. It is a problem, and the Bahamian people are asking. I say again, it's not a political statement. The Bahamian people are asking, what is our plan? They're asking, what is the plan of the government? Yeah, but but Honorable Member for Fox Hill, you know, this ain't an issue we could kick down the road, kick the can down the road. They want to know answers now. You know, they want to know answers now. So we have to do something, Madam Speaker. We owe it to the Bahamian people. We owe it to the loved ones of the many family members who've been affected by this every single day. Communities are being rocked by gunshots over and over. Last night, I went into my constituency last night, Madam Speaker, and people are tired and in fear. Tired and in fear. And I'm sure all members here who these incidents have impacted their constituency feel the same way. But the question is, where is the plan to start to solve these issues, even if these plans include the participation of others, including members of the opposition? So the Bahamian people want to know, where are the plans to address this menace that continues to wreak havoc every single day? Murder last night on Wolf Road in my constituency, and an incident this morning as we assembled here. When will it stop? The Bahamian people are asking, when will it stop? And I heard the member for Freetown, who I respect very much, talk about the political directorate essentially having a hands-off approach to how the Royal Bahamas Police Force deals with its affairs. But it can be off hands to the point where the government has no influence to ensure that the Bahamian people should readily expect to be in a peaceful and tranquil society, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, as I turn to...
The chair recognizes the honourable member for Fort Charlotte.
Madam Speaker, the honourable member for Freetown, to my recollection, did not say that the executive has to take a hands-off approach. What the honourable member stated is that the law passed by this honourable House reposes in the Commissioner of Police the responsibility of putting forward a policing plan. That doesn't say, or that is not to say that the executive arm of the government, the minister, is not involved. There is a separation, but both the commissioner and the minister and the cabinet work hand in hand in terms of the provision of the resources so that this plan can be carried out, in terms of the national development plan. So I just want to point out that the honourable member for Freetown was merely indicating that on the tactical level, it is the Commissioner of Police purview. That is the law.
Thank you, honourable member. Okay. Chair recognizes the honourable member for...
Madam Speaker, let me just thank you, honourable member for Fort Charlotte. let me just emphasize that what the Bahamian people feel has not happened is a clearly articulated plan to address the issue of the murders in this country over the last few weeks and months. And again, I would state, whatever that plan may be in its inclusivity, it is something that the Bahamian people want to hear. Let me also just state for the record as well, I hold the Royal Bahamas Police Force in high regard. My grandfather, who passed a year and a half ago, was a superintendent, and he was in charge of the police armory. And I will say, Madam Speaker, it was a privilege and an honor to grow up in a household where my grandfather, and as many may know, my uncle rise to the position of Deputy Commissioner of Police. So I just want the Bahamian people to know and law enforcement to know that.
You are one of them.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Absolutely. And that every day I saw the sacrifices made by men and women of the Royal Bahamas Police Force. My stepfather, who's been in my life from I was 6, was on the police force for some close to 40 years. Close to 40 years. And so we know, yes, and so we know each of us has a family member or a friend who's in the Royal Bahamas Police Force. And so we know the sacrifices. And so I want to be clear in stating that we are aware of the sacrifices that they make. We continue to support them. But that's why it's even more incumbent upon the government, we feel, to do what we can to arrest these issues. And again, I would say, if we continue to allow this to happen in the country and seemingly not address it with effective measures, again, in a collaborative way, then it should be unsettling for us to walk in here as parliamentarians every day, representing the people that we represent, and to go back into our constituencies and not be able to say, here is a clearly articulated plan that the government has presented that involves community stakeholders and so forth and so on. Madam Speaker, I turn now to the compendium of bills. I think as the member for Freetown would have said that these aren't controversial. They are needed. And I do believe that any pieces of legislation, any policy that allows justice, if you will, allows justice and just practices to be formulated on behalf of the civil servants and the people who give so much to the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, and in respects these 4 persons, it should be done. No issue there at all. I would just hasten to say that the key thing now is other persons who are in that category, let's do our best to make sure that their situation is remedied as well. Right? Madam Speaker, with that, thank you very much.
Thank you, Honourable Member. Asmini?
Obliged.
The Chair recognizes the Honourable Member for St. Anne's.
I'm obliged, Madam Speaker.